Thank you for coming. This is our third edition of the Quividi'S Partners Conference here in Amsterdam. And we are delighted to see you all here, all again from all around the world. It's a very vast panel of countries, as usual, from all the way from Americas to Australia and Europe. Thank you to all our publisher partners here today. That's including Clear Channel, Exterion, Elan, Media, and many others. We have a lot of many location owners, Simon, Grandi Stazioni, Clépierre, Nibai, also joining us today. We have agencies, CMS editors, integrators, manufacturers of screen, pods, displays, and kiosks. So it's great to have you all here today as such a very varied mix of our ecosystem. And it actually just shows how complex it is nowadays and how many skills you need to operate a digital out-of-home network. Thank you to all our speakers for sharing today their vision of what is DOOH, smart DOOH, and smart location. Last time we met in Amsterdam, Procter & Gamble Chief Branding Officer Mark Pritchard was just complaining about the lack of transparency of the digital supply chain and demanded more accountability. His exhortation initiated a real profound change in terms of transparency in the industry, and this has also impacted DOOH all the better, I hope. Over the last few months, actually, three major bodies have converged on the definition of what is a DOOH audience. The DPAA, the Trade Association for Digital Out-of-Home in America, the MRC, the Media Rating Council, who is a certification body for advertising measurement that sits between brands and media. And also the IAB, that standardizes all media from display to video, social and mobile. They all prescribed it actually that measuring DOOH is actually measuring views, not just presence at the location. So this is actually obviously good news for Quividi'S, but also all of us in this room who have actually made a bet on data and on accountability. This also makes digital out-of-home more compatible to its digital cousins. And it's actually the only way that digital out-of-home will massively grow. You will hear today also from Marco Orlandi from Grandi Stazioni how they captured more of the web and TV business for the digital out-of-home network. And this is actually what we're all aiming for. In 2007, although programmatic actually may not have moved the needle as much as some of us had expected, automation is definitely happening and all those streamlined transactions, and it's starting to make its way there. Overall, it was a very good year for digital out-of-home and for Quividi'S. This year, we passed a 1 billion milestone of people measured every month. We're very proud of this achievement. More than ever, Quividi'S is delivering on our biggest strength, which is actually making technology that just works and making technology that works at scale. We've been partnering all this year with technology vendors like Nextcom, like Acer, iBase, Shuttle, ECS, to make that customer experience more and more seamless and trouble-free. We've actually partnered with all the ecosystem to make also that technology work. With regards to deployments, we've been actually seeing a strong interest from location owners to create innovative experiences in the place. The proximity of screens to the point of purchase is actually transforming opportunities to see into opportunities to sell. So that's not a surprise, that we have been deploying a lot of our networks in the retail hubs and transportation hubs, such as shopping malls and transportation. So we're here today also from our speaker about their implementation at Westfield, at Simon in the US, in the most important railway train station in Italy, and in the largest malls in Qatar. So today, we are getting closer than ever to our vision of a camera on every screen, whether it is for measure or whether it is for interactive experience. It is now a safe bet for manufacturers to plan for an embedded camera and reasonable CPU in order to protect the future of their investment. More about this later from Stephen Gottlieb from Gable and from Peter Leipzig from Esprit Digital. So, we've all been hearing about, well, that GDPR is coming. But what does this all mean to you? GDPR is actually a European regulation on data protection, which will have very strict requirements for companies to ensure that personal data, which are collected, do not pose any risk for privacy. That companies can explain to consumers how their data will be used. And all of this is actually going to be in effect as soon as May 2018. Based on our discussions with French privacy authority, the CNIL, we will actually be able to legally operate and even more easily operate under GDPR in Europe. The reason is that since we founded the company, Quividi'S technology is private by design. We never record any image, we never store any personal photo or biometrics, and obviously we do not track people around. Even further, actually, the way we process data is actually privacy protecting. So this was actually confirmed, again, reiterated a few weeks ago with Guarantee in Italy, which is a country actually fairly strict, fairly known for its strict privacy rules. Generally speaking, it's very important for us to meet with all privacy authorities all around the world that have any questions around the technology. We have actually an experience and track record, and we'll always support you to help educate those authorities, tell them what we do, what we don't do. We recently did so, of course, in Italy, in Ireland, in the UK, as we're doing it right now in Belgium and in the Netherlands. We are actually very proud to say that we, in all our history, we have to date had never ever had any negative feedback from any privacy authority all around the world with regard to our technologies. So you should feel protected, and we will help you explain that. So what does smart do? You know, we are now more and more in the experience economy where brands need to pass memorable experiences to their consumers. And consumers can participate actively or passively to the experience, but it requires out-of-home, out-of-the-box creativity just to stand out and be effective. What used to be a message, just a message on the screen, is now an audience-aware, audience-centric experience with a user interface that can sense you. Quividi'S-powered screens are aware of their audience, obviously. That means three things. First one, the ability to deliver a targeted message based on who is viewing it, whether it's a man, a woman, a boy or girl, or groups. That also means the ability to make a message interactive, so it responds back to the audience. When you're approaching the screen, when you're paying attention, if you're frowning, if you're smiling, if you nod your head, if you shake your head, if you interact directly with the screen. More recently, we've actually added intelligence to the message, so it can build itself automatically from various parts. And using AI actually to optimize for which combination get most attention or get the best reaction. We call this Campaign Genius, and we've actually started a premiere actually in New York a few months ago. And Frank Krickhart here from Dentsu will showcase an example of an AI-based campaign that we designed together, that we played in the Westfield malls in the US, where Quividi'S is installed on standard on every screen. All these experience-centric experiences are standard compatible and run out of the box on most digital signage, as long as Quividi'S is actually installed. And we see this smart do as the future of advertising communication. One last word, we're actually embarking on a journey to now go and measure 1 billion people every day, not every month, but every day. To achieve this, we will continue to work with all of you, all the ecosystem here in this room, to make our technology always easier to understand, always easier to use, and always easier to resell. We bring publishers and location owners our flagship audience measurement platform that you've all gotten to know along those years. And our focus is to create data and services that you can easily package and resell. Whether it's audience per campaign, whether it's detailed analytics per content, and how it can be optimized, whether it's smart campaigns that can play on the on your networks, or data that can be provided pre-bid for programmatic or post-execution for verification. We're trying to make all those a product that will increase your revenue as publishers. We also need to make our technology simpler and simpler to use. And for this, we will continue to cooperate with all technology providers, OEM partners, to integrate our technologies better inside your products and make sure that they work well together out of the box in every single conditions, every single OS, every single distance of engagement of the screen, every size of screen, every usage of Quivid data. And last, we're committed to help you create actually a smarter, more engaging, and more memorable experience that we talked earlier. That's through our Quividi'S Labs program. Sometimes it involves actually creating, working on new special projects, new prototypes, creating new computer vision capabilities that we can add to our algorithm stores for you. In general, we would strive to create more awareness and more demand for Smart DOOH, and looking forward to work with you in this year of creativity in 2018.